So I've come out to FCJ on this rainy Tuesday morning, and we're talking about cycling proficiencies, of course. I'm now joined by Tom Hall, or Mr. Hall, aka Mr. Hall at school. He's the head of PE, and he also heads up the cycling test initiatives for the school. He joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm all right. Thank you very much for joining us. So first of all, what does FCJ do to help kids stay safe on their bikes?
Well, luckily 2 years ago, the PSA here at FCJ bought a whole set of bikes for the school, and since then we've been running a cycling proficiency training, and we do that by setting up scenarios on the playground, setting up sort of fake roads, and just giving them the basic understanding of first how to control the bikes, but also the fundamentals of the highway code as well. And we work closely with the Jersey road officers and safety officers, and they come in during different days for curriculum days. And we've been doing it for 2 years. It's been successful. We've got through two cohorts of Year 6 children that have all successfully passed their Level 1 cycling proficiency the last 2 years. So yeah.
And that's great. So you do whole classes at a time, because when I was a kid I had to go down to Rouge Bouillon and kind of do it, I say privately, but you know, I kind of had to do it on my own. But you just kind of do the whole class in one go, and everyone's willing to take part and is up for it.
Yeah, and we've had all our staff has been trained by the Jersey road officer, so everyone's trained in the cycling proficiency that we can give the children, and we also run it in our PE lessons as well, because we've got this great access of the bikes, and the PSA have bought the bikes for the school. It means that we've got a specialist sports teacher as well, in Chris Riley. We've also got our site manager as well, who's a very keen cyclist himself. He's done the Prudential Ride London. He does a lot of riding himself, so he's really keen and gets involved as well. So we've got lots of people in the school who are willing to lead it, and with the facilities we've got and the bikes as well, it just means that everyone has great access to it.
I heard yesterday from the road safety officer, Philip Blake, that now Jersey Sport are kind of getting involved in the cycling initiative. And when I think about PE, it's not just about making young people become athletes, it's about encouraging that habitual sport life into everyday life. And I guess cycling falls right in the middle of all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, PE, and especially at primary level school, yes, sport is a part of it, but being physically active and different ways to do that. When we do PE lessons and when we teach PE lessons, it's not all about just teaching sport, it's about teaching them lifestyle choices and ways to be physically active, and cycling is definitely one of those.
The general idea for taking a cycling proficiency, or taking the Level 1 test as it's called now, is to make people, or young people, safe on the roads when they hit the traffic, you know, beyond bombing around the estate and sort of, you know, roundabouts and traffic lights and stuff like that. How do you feel when you think about your pupils age, you know, or Year 6 heading out into traffic?
Yeah, I think it's at first, I think for everyone it'd probably be a daunting prospect, but I think that this is why we do it, to make them more aware of the traffic, and I think a part of that is drivers as well. I think it's about they need to be educated as well to make sure they're looking after cyclists on the road, but cyclists themselves have responsibility the way they behave on the road, and by teaching the kids how to follow the highway code and what they need to do on the roads in different scenarios, they themselves can keep themselves safer, and like you say, they're not just roaming around on the roads and causing a nuisance. They're there on the road as a sensible and a you know, at the end of the day, it's making them citizens of society and making sure that they can follow the rules and do it responsibly.
Do any of your pupils cycle to school at the moment, or are they still a bit young?
Still a bit young. We send them off in Year 6, so the idea is that in Year 6, when they hit 11 years old, 10, 11 years old, we give them the fundamental skills that they use. So when they're a little bit more independent in secondary school, they might have that skill that they can then go on to use in secondary school. So a little bit young at the moment, but we like to think that we're setting them off in good stead for when they get onto secondary school.
And what about you on your bike? Do you feel safe cycling around Jersey?
I do on the country lanes. You know, we had some hairy moments. I'm from the UK originally. I'd say it's much safer over here. It's definitely much safer over here. There is a respect between cyclists and traffic and drivers, and I think it's responsibility of both. You know, cyclists, they need to have responsibility and behaviours that they have on the road, as do drivers. And I think if both work in unison, then both drivers and cyclists can exist on Jersey roads safely.
We've heard that apparently it's only around a third of Jersey schools that are running this cycling test. Do you think everybody should do it?
I can't speak on behalf of everyone. For us, like like I say, in PE lessons and being head of PE, it's my role to make sure that children have access to as many activities as they possibly can. And like we said earlier, in PE, it's not just about sport, it's not just about, say, football, rugby, netball, it's about other ways of keeping them physically active. And for us, cycling's a big part of that. It's a physical activity, and it's something that should be taught. And we feel, as a school, we want to give them the opportunity to have that. And hopefully it leaves them in good stead for when they leave us.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me. There's a lot of work going on here at the moment. Is this related to FCJ? What's going on?
We've got a bit of work going on at the moment. We've got some building work going on to extend the school, and I think next door in Greyville, they've got a bit of work going on as well. So it's a busy time, but very exciting time.
I'll let you get nice and quiet inside. Thank you very much for joining us. OK, so that was Tom Hall, a.k.a. Mr. Tall, Mr. Hall even, who is the head of PE here at FCJ. Mr. Tall.
How
tall
is he? Gary Cooper there, live from FCJ Primary School. More schools in Jersey are being urged to offer the Level 1 cycling certificate, the equivalent to what you and I might remember as the Cycling Proficiency test. Come on, someone must have a memory of taking the test.